Congressman, explain what happens on Twitter, and then we want to understand how you came to take legal action against them in a civil suit.
Sure. So let me just try to give you the top line here. So about a year and a half ago, Twitter finally came out and admitted that they had been shadow banning me. Now, they claim it wasn't shadow banning, but the bottom line is this. People could not see my tweets along with others. So that's step one. So we don't know how long that went for. We don't know to what extent. They never gave us any more information. But clearly people were not able to see very important information that I would send out, just like you just said, Laura. If I thought something was important to put into the public square on Russiagate or something that we were doing in our investigation, I put it out there. So at the same time, there were numerous accounts that were accusing me of crimes, criminal crimes, that every time there would be a fake news story that was posted on me, they would replicate this out into the so-called public square. Now, Twitter has an exemption. Twitter's not like Fox News or any of the major newspapers. They have an exemption. They claim, hey, they're fair to everybody. Everybody can come to our public square and say whatever they want. They're upholding the First Amendment. The fact of the matter is the opposite is true. They are partisans. They are leftists. They did this on purpose. People are developing algorithms to specifically censor conservative thought, conservative talk, and that is what happened to me. Now, we also believe that the people that were behind these accounts were likely people that were trying to obstruct my investigation into Russia collusion with the Democratic Party, the Clinton campaign, and dirty cops at the FBI and DOJ. So you can see that would be obstructing a congressional investigation. So this is a big case. It's quite complex, but the bottom line is that we have no other pathway other than to take them to court using the defamation laws that in fact you just can't slander a public official. It's not okay.
I think the defamation laws, I have to agree with the president that they're way too onerous on public officials. We need tort reform in this country. Loser has to pay. I find the entire situation with our lawsuits but defamation, it's just ridiculous. So you have people filing frivolous lawsuits.
Public figures, okay?
Yeah, and people can say the most hateful things.
Yeah, and look, I expect people to make fun of me. I expect people to criticize my positions. I don't have any problem with that, okay? But that's not what was happening here, okay? And so, and public officials should not be okay for multiple people, multiple entities, tech companies to allow public officials to be accused of crimes, okay, over and over again ad nauseum, so much so that it drowns out the actual work that I'm doing because they're limiting who can see my tweets. So I have no ability even to respond to this.
I think it's time to treat these companies like public utilities. I mean, they really are much more like public utilities than regular run-of-the-mill media companies. And if they're public utilities, they're subjected to different types of regulation and scrutiny. And I think given their strength, their power, their size, maybe that's not, people say that's not conservative to think that. I totally think that. Because it can have a profound effect on voting patterns. These people all care about not mucking around with the vote. Well, this has a direct effect on who can see what information when.
Well, look, Laura, I'm fine, okay, if Twitter truly was a public square, okay, and they were only going after people who were, that were with terms of service, things that were against the law, right, like child pornography or something along those lines. But they're not a free public square because by their own admission, they are censoring people. So that just that by themselves shows you that they should be treated like either like a utility, like you say, or a media company. But right now they have a special deal. And this is about, we are in a digital war. Conservatives are in a digital war with the left, and the left controls the playing field.
They're running the table. Congressman,
this is what
Alan Dershowitz, he was in a Q&A today on Fox in the morning, I think on Fox and Friends. Let's listen.
Devin Nunes is bringing on Twitter. Here he is on the story last night on that.
Well, Twitter's a big company. They have an army of lawyers. This could take a very long time. And I should say that this is only the first of many. We started with Twitter because they are a perpetrator of this, of the fake news. But we are also going after numerous other media organizations in the coming weeks.
Does he have a strong case?
Mm-hmm. No, he has no case at all. And it's wrong from a political and ideological point of view. If you don't like what Twitter is doing, create an alternate company. If you don't like what Facebook, you don't like what any of the others are doing, the American way is competition.
He is a pretty smart guy. He says you're spitting in the wind here, Congressman.
Yeah, so I would, I guess the bottom line, it goes back to what we just talked about, is that the laws are clear. Public officials can be slandered and defamed, and we have the right to go after people who do that to us as public figures, just like you, Laura. So let's take the opposite and think of it a different way. Let's say he's right, and I cannot do this, and Twitter can do whatever the hell they want, and the media companies can do whatever the hell they want. Then think about where this is going to head. It will be okay for me or my affiliates to develop a bunch of nasty Twitter accounts about you, Laura, as a public figure, and I could accuse you of multiple federal crimes, so much so, let's say that it went viral, like it happened to me over the past year. And, good luck on getting your next Fox contract if people think that you have been committed multiple felonies and it becomes a known fact in the Twitterverse.
Well, I have to say, again, this is not about shutting down speech of Twitter or being heavy-handed. I disagree with what Dershowitz is saying here, but I do think this is going to require the Justice Department to step in. I think this is where Bill Barr and others have to take a very close look at a repeated pattern and practice of discrimination. And this is political discrimination. This is associational discrimination that's taking hold in these major companies. And Facebook's probably better than the others, but at least, especially with Twitter, it is a recurring problem. This is a pattern and practice of discrimination.
That's right, and it's really the opposite of what Dershowitz is saying. Is my First Amendment rights are being censored, and it's very plain. And if people want to go to the Fox News broke the original story, they got our complaint, and I would encourage all of your listeners to go read the complaint. My guess is that Dershowitz has not read the complaint yet, but I think once he reads the complaint, he will have a better understanding of what we're saying. And the problem with this whole idea of just go create a new Twitter. Well, even if we had billions of dollars to go create a new Twitter, we're going to get sued for copyright infringement. So Twitter's not going to let another Twitter be built. So we're stuck with Twitter the way it is. And if you want to exercise your First Amendment rights, especially as conservatives, we have no choice but to fall in line and fight. And, I'm in a good position to take on this fight. And, I've been in the trenches on this and I will continue to lead on it. But that takes conservatives like you and others to help in this fight because, we will be quickly drowned out, which is what they're really trying to do because the left wants to keep Twitter the way it is. In fact, the left wants Twitter to censor even more than what they are.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. They want us all to be subject to university-style speech codes. They want us all to live on a university campus that you can never leave. It's like you can check out, but you can never leave, like the Hotel California, but you can matriculate, but you can never leave.
Or the Roach Motel.
Yeah, the Roach Motel, exactly. We're talking to Devin Nunes here on the Laura Ingraham podcast. Congressman, let's talk about this new news today. John Solomon reporting at The Hill that now in the Ukraine, we're seeing a new probe there about how it looks like some of these Ukrainian characters might have been conspiring to help Hillary in 2016. And why doesn't John Podesta ever get into any trouble for anything that he does? I mean, that guy is everywhere. And as far as I can tell, he was doing the same thing that a lot of these other characters, Manafort, and I'm not saying criminality, but involved in these foreign elections, very murky characters. And he always seems to, he's like Zelig. He always shows up where there's a big issue or controversy, and he has his paws all over it.
Well, it's not just Podesta. Okay, so Podesta is one of many. The bottom line with all of this is with the so-called Mueller investigation, the reason, remember, we supported the Mueller investigation at the very beginning because we thought, okay, let's get this out of DOJ's hands. Mueller's a veteran. He'll quickly put together a team, bipartisan team. He'll go out and he'll see that there is no collusion between the Trump campaign and Russia. So we were very supportive of that. However, Mueller immediately showed his partisan stripes by hiring a bunch of Democrats to work for him, partisan Democrats who were planning on working for Hillary Clinton. And what's happened is Mueller didn't look into any Democrats because right away he would have found, I mean, Podesta's really bad, and there's many others that did really bad things. But the biggest thing of all is it was the Clinton campaign and our own FBI that was hiring and working with foreign agents to go talk to Russians to get dirt on Trump. So they should. I've said this many times, probably on your TV show, but Mueller should be investigating himself, and the Democrats should be investigating themselves because they're the ones who allowed the collusion with the Russians to continue, and they knew from the investigators from the very beginning of the Mueller probe, even weeks before the Mueller probe. Remember the text messages from the lead investigator, Peter Strzok, telling his mistress, who is Andy McCabe's lawyer, that there's nothing there, there's no there. They knew there was nothing to do with collusion with Russians. And look, this is after, Laura, they claimed that they started this in late July of 2016. That's also another lie that they've told Congress and how they obstructed our investigation. DOJ and FBI, or at least FBI and the Obama administration, were investigating Trump with every tool that they had in the toolbox at least early 2016, maybe even 2015.
I mean, but this is Bill Barr. Bill Barr has got to either open up an inquiry, re-examine this, another special counsel. I mean, right? That's the only way we're gonna get to the real bottom. I know you tried to do your best and still chipping away at it. But if you're going to restore faith in the U.S. Justice Department, people can't have gotten away with this. I mean, forget the money wasted, the opportunities wasted for our country that President Trump probably wasn't able to pursue.
Yeah, and look, that's what's going to happen if there is not a reckoning here where people are held accountable. The Podestas, the Christopher Stills, the Clinton campaign, people who were colluding with Russians. You're going to have half of America who is never going to trust the Department of Justice or the FBI ever again, and that includes most of the Republican members in the House and Senate are not going to trust these agencies. I mean, that is a scary thought to have elected officials have no faith and confidence in our own law enforcement.
Devin Nunes, we hope you're never shadow banned. You're never shadow banned on our show, okay? Never, never, never. We really appreciate your joining us. We'll see you on TV.